What's up, everybody? Dave Kunstek here with Butts Receipts Restaurant Marketing. I'm here with Mike Androw of E&D Pizza Company. Not that long ago, he was on the PMQ Magazine on the cover for 2019. He's a pizzeria owner from Connecticut. What city in again, Mike?
Avon, Connecticut.
Avon, Connecticut. And he's at the top of this game. We've talked for a little bit about how he got into the magazine and the things that led to success. You know, he's a lifelong of bread, pizza, restaurants, you name it, all this conversation. But I'm going to really let a lot of this to you, Mike. You know, we'll shoot back and forth here a little bit. But
Sure.
Do you want to start and just give me your story here?
Well, my story's a pretty easy one, actually. I don't have any fantastic story of how I jumped into this business. I was born into it. My family owned an Italian bakery when I grew up.
And was that in Connecticut as well?
In Connecticut, yep. Yep. And then my first job when I was of age, I think of age then was different than of age now.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But my first job was in the local pizzeria as a pizza maker. And I did that for years. Eventually went off to school. After school, came right back, jumped right back into the restaurant business. Over the course of the years, went through every facet of the restaurant business, from pizza to casual dining, to bars and nightclubs to fine dining. And eventually one day I woke up and said, where have the years gone? Those young days of doing the rough part of the restaurant business were behind me, and I was married with young children, and I said, I have to find something that will allow me the opportunity to be able to be successful with a family. Meaning, no more 3-4 o'clock in the morning, getting home, closing bars, closing restaurants down. And I wasn't going to become, a brain surgeon or a plumber or an astronaut overnight. This is what I do, the restaurant business. So I think to myself, what is the one avenue in that business that will allow me the best opportunity to have more of a normal family style hours in life? And the answer was simple. It was pizza.
Pizza.
Because pizza, first of all, it's where I started. It's what I know. It was easy for me. And at the same time, you're dealing with more normal, for lack of a better term, hours. More conducive to a successful family life. So that's where I refocused my attention on that and got back to that.
So how about, and again, I'm just going to shoot around some topics here, some things we talked about, before here. You said you have a little bit of a different take on traditional marketing. Could you go over that a little bit?
Yeah. When you talk to different people, there's a million different things you can do out there for marketing. And, I certainly don't have to tell you, you're aware of that.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a lot of things that...
I'm biased, but...
Well, sure. And I can appreciate that. There's a lot of things that are good for the person selling that marketing tool. Mm-hmm. They don't all work for everybody. Now, at the same time, there is a certain level of success in every marketing tool available out there. But to me, it came down to return on investment. There are some things that have been, considered traditional over the years, especially in the pizza end of this business. Mm-hmm. Direct mailers. How often do you see that trifold menu with coupons come in the mailbox? That's very expensive.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see them myself as much anymore. I see like those plum packs, and Sure. It's kind of like everybody, trying to get the best bang by getting in with other people into those packs.
Yep. So, I mean, those are out there, and, you have to ask yourself, how often do I open those? How often do I go through everything in there? And not just me, how often does everyone do that? How often do they just get chucked in the garbage?
Yeah. Like I said, the only reason I go into that stuff is to see who's spending money.
Sure. Now, if you weren't in this business, you have to ask yourself, would you?
It depends.
Yeah. The same way. So, it comes down to return on investment. The same thing goes for newspaper ads, local magazine ads.
Now, have you done those at all ever?
What's that?
Have you used those at all, like ever?
I don't. I've done, years ago, I would do some local magazine ads, just honestly, more out of just a feeling of, helping out the salesperson.
I got you.
And doing the right thing. But, knowing that your return on investment is not going to be good. But for so many years, these have been the only tools available to operators. And so it was, you had to bite that bullet, you had to do it and try to build off of that. And I'm at the point where, years back when I first started this concept, I said, I just can't see myself making that investment and doing that. There has to be a better way. Now, at the same time, you can't just unlock the door and flip the lights on and say, okay, everyone, here I am, come get it. You have to have a way to be able to introduce yourself to people, get people in the door, and get people to try your food, and make and build that customer base. So we went about looking at different ways to do it. And
what you said to me and what I found again was putting your money into free product. I mean, that perked my ears up when you said that.
Yeah. You think everyone has different budgets that they establish for whether it be the month or the year.
Yep.
And you look at what you may have allocated for funds for marketing over the course of a year, 100, 500,000, 10,000, whatever it may be.
Yep.
And think about what you get in return for that. And with some of those old traditional marketing ideas, the return is not that great nowadays, and it's a difficult pill to swallow. So I started saying to myself, okay, well, let's take a different look at this. And I took the approach of, let's put that money into product, and let's give that product away. Not as samples, but when someone needs something. So when the school says, hey, we're having an event or a fundraiser, we're looking for pizza, what can you do for a price on it? There's no price. If everyone's cost basis is different, but say a pizza costs you, a large cheese pizza costs you $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, whatever. You're giving it away at your cost, not retail.
Yep.
So that's one thing to keep into consideration. Second of all, instead of spending $1,500 on a business card size ad in the newspaper that no one's going to read, how about spending $50 of product, giving that away, and now everyone's going to know this product was donated by company ABC. And in our specific genre of this business in pizza, most of it is family oriented. So that's always been my thing, appeal to people's kids. I think of it in terms of myself. I've been a restaurant operator in Connecticut for going on 30 years.
30, that's a long time to make that run.
Yeah, but over that time, you get to know a lot of people. And I think I've mentioned it to you in conversation before. My wife and I can go into a restaurant for dinner. You know the owner, the general manager. Someone wants to buy you a bottle of wine. Someone wants to buy you dessert. That's very nice. That's very well appreciated. You don't need to do it, but it's very thoughtful. But you do something for my kids, whole new ball game. You give my kid an ice cream. You give my kid a balloon. Give my kid a high five. Whew, as a parent, nothing gets you more. You can buy me a car. I don't care. You do something for my kids. Oh,
making them feel like they're important. And you remember their name.
But it's not just me. All parents are like that. And so that's what we thought of with marketing. Let's start appealing to people's kids. Let's do for the kids. The Little League needs something. The football needs something. The school needs something. We're there. We do it. We don't ask for anything in return, but we know we are getting something in return in the exposure. And it's exposure. We couldn't buy that kind of exposure anywhere else. I think I mentioned to you in terms of like a Little League team, for example. Yeah. It's such a common thing, but you know what? When you have your name on a jersey, mom's going to see that stupid, dirty jersey with your name on it and watch it twice a week. Your name is out there. How hard would you try to get your name into someone's kitchen on something printed on a newspaper, a magazine? Well, now you've automatically got it, and you're helping out kids at the same time. And I think that thing goes a long way.
Now, aside from that, my question with that is too, is this something that you just discovered along the way? Was it a strategy you came up with? Like, how did that come to be?
I would love to tell you that it was all part of my master plan from day one, but that's not true. It was in the plans, but it was something that evolved over time. You started seeing the return on investment on small things like that, where people, sometimes may have a little bit of a, how much you want me to give you something for free? How much you want? But then when you sit back and think about it, well, what is it really costing me? What am I really getting out of it? And how much money was I going to spend on something stupid that I knew was not going to give me the marketing return on investment that I wanted? When you start looking at it that way, it kind of becomes a no-brainer. And I'm saying, you know what? Maybe it's time to start putting the dollars there instead. And in hindsight now, it's 100% correct.
Did you measure it in faces or in coupons? Like how did you measure that effectiveness? Just seeing the new faces or?
seeing the new faces and seeing, especially in the pizza genre of this restaurant business, that's something where people get their place.
Mm-hmm.
You can go out to a million different restaurants, but when it comes to pizza and it comes to, Friday pizza night with the family, what's your place? What's your place that you go to? Sometimes you try out different places, but everyone's got their own, their favorite. And so how do you become, great food?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Everyone's got great food though. I can tell you a ton of places that have great food. There's some junk peddlers out there.
Yep.
But, how do you stand out? What makes you separate? What makes you that go-to place? And this is the thing, developing those relationships. Developing relationships by, helping people's families, helping people's kids, their schools, their activities, getting on people's radar that way
Mm-hmm.
brings that attention to you that you can't get from a newspaper ad, a magazine ad, a direct mail or a coupon, a radio ad. And the cost structure is so much less. It's crazy.
Yeah. Now you said about that. Back in my house, there's two of them we have, and I have mine and my wife has hers, and just where we get it just depends on who wins that night is what it comes down to,
So you always get what your wife wants then?
So she won't agree with that, but I don't know. I feel like I give up a lot more than she gives me credit for. So
yeah, we all say that, but we know it's not true.
All right. So that's awesome. I mean, like I said, I've never heard anybody phrase it like that, but way before, like as a revelation of, what built the business and what kept things moving. Next thing you mentioned to me was getting out in a restaurant and saying hi versus, hiding in the kitchen.
Yeah. And it's something that I talk to a lot of different restaurant operators about. And, I'm pretty passionate about it, but I get a lot of pushback from some people. And it's the same thing. People always tell me, I've been a back of the house guy all my life. I'm not a big people person. I'm great at cooking. I do my thing. I leave that to those people out there. Well, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. I tell people, step back, think about it. Look at what you're doing. If anyone's ever taken a basic sales course, one of the first things they always teach you is make friends with your potential customer, because people buy from their friends.
Yeah. Yep.
Take that attitude and get out on the floor. Cut the strings on the apron. As soon as the hit is done, get out on the floor. You don't have to be a people person. You don't have to be a big conversationalist. Everyone is not asking you to stop at the table and spend 10 minutes there. But approach every table. Excuse yourself. Say hello. I just wanted to say hello. My name is so-and-so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the owner. Wanted to check and see how everything is. It's great. Wonderful. Thanks so much for coming in. Look forward to seeing you again. Have a great night. Now, was that so hard?
No.
Even the most introverted person can do it. And it cost you zero. Now look at what has happened. Are you going to remember the name of all 4, 5, 6 people at that table? No, of course not. And you're going to go talk to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 other tables. Are you going to remember everyone's names? Of course you're not. But they're going to remember the one name, your name. And that's the key. Now they feel like they have a relationship with you. No matter how small it may be, they've met the owner. They know the owner. They like the owner. He's a good guy. Now they're going to say, oh, I know that guy. Oh, I know the guy that owns that place. Oh, I'm friends with him. Now you've developed a relationship, albeit small. To them, it's bigger than it may be to you. But for $0 and for next to zero effort, with just a polite hello, how are things, thank you, now you've established that relationship. That if you were looking in terms of marketing, you would pay how many dollars to find a tool that could give you that result in that relationship.
But you won't. I mean,
and now you did it for free.
I could try to quantify it, but quantifying that versus an actual relationship, you can't.
And you just did it for free. You did it with minimal effort. And that's the thing. People are scared to do it, but they don't need to be, because it really is so simple. And like I said, people buy from their friends. Now, they're going to go off pizza on Friday. Oh, you know what? My buddy owns this place. He's great. You're going to love it.
You know what?
I don't remember his name.
True.
Hey, what's going on? Good to see you again, pal. How are you? That's fine. That's fine. It's that, but you do it one night. You do it the next night. Do it the night after that. It's spider webs. And all of a sudden, for next to nothing, you've done all this marketing. You developed all of that. And it really wasn't that hard after all. And, I certainly don't want to take away from other marketing avenues and tools, But when you look at return on investment, you're your own biggest asset sometimes. And I think people need to not be so scared of that and realize that. Get out there and do it.
Yep, out in the restaurant. So that you ran right into my other point, which was, making people feel like they know the owner and talk to other people about it. And then you also mentioned, even after that, was that you feel like the family support system is vital to the success of, a restaurant owner.
To a restaurant owner, yeah. I mean, especially, startups. I mean, we all have heard the numbers, read the horror stories, and see the failure rate of restaurants. People don't realize when you first get into it what's involved. People think they do. Oh, I'm going to hire some guys. I'm going to get a good chef. I'm going to get a good manager.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. And you just won Powerball and decided to blow it all on a restaurant. I mean, where's all this money coming from? And that's the hard part. And that's why you see these big failure rates lots of times. People don't realize what's involved. In the beginning, it takes an awful, awful lot for a restaurant to get off the ground and to be successful. Because when you don't have massive amounts of cash flow coming in, and you still need to be able to manage the day-to-day operations of that place, you wear a lot of hats. And it's fundamental that you be there and you're the one. And without a good support system at home, that's very, very difficult. When you're not around, but you need to really put in that effort to reach that goal. And a lot of people can't do it. A lot of people aren't prepared for that going in. And I think that's what contributes to a lot.
What does the person that again, I'm not opening a restaurant, but for example, I have 5 kids. I don't think I could give that level of commitment. For someone like me, would you recommend not opening a restaurant, or do you think the challenges would be different?
For someone like yourself, I would say definitely have a partner. Yeah. For a sole proprietor, doing it on your own, it's difficult. It's difficult. You need to be able to make that commitment. For someone in a different family position, with a handful of children already, it's nearly impossible to do it on your own. You need to be with your family. You can't be there 24/7.
It's like this is like it'd be the best time to do it is like right after college, or as a substitute to college, if you know your way through it.
The older you get, the more you learn. You learn a lot from other people's mistakes, and you don't make them on your own. So the time is valuable. The experience is valuable. But for me personally, when I started the E&D Pizza concept, I did it when my children were both extremely young, and I would leave in the morning for work before they were awake. I would come home when they were in bed. So I went almost 2 straight years without seeing my children awake, and it was extremely, extremely difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine.
My wife was fantastic and said, go get it done now while they're young. And we were able to build the business and build the concept up to the point where, I was able to back myself out of it and not be there on a 24/7 basis anymore. But, if my kids were older, I certainly wouldn't have been able to do it on my own. I would have needed partners. But, there are different avenues. But, I think lots of times people just see the romance factor in restaurants.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it looks fun on TV. People going out saying hi to everybody, having a glass of wine with them. How you doing? It looks great.
Family, I'm going to eat dinner with her. It's going to be wonderful. It's not. It's especially in the early years. It's not like that at all. And I think people don't realize that right away and throw their hands up and say, "Well, wait a minute. This was supposed to be so nice." And it can be, but not overnight.
Yep. Now, you said the E&D Pizza concept. Now, I hear the word concept a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, because everybody has their own way of doing things, their own way of fashioning, their pizza, their product and stuff. When you say your concept, can you tell us a little bit about your concept? What makes your pizzeria different?
Personally, I think what makes it different is that what I did in the market I'm in. We took an extremely high-end product and priced it accordingly. Didn't price it through the roof, but I took the attitude personally that I would rather make less money per pie and be able to run a higher food cost and be able to give people a premium product they were going to taste and say, wow. And I could know that once you try it, I've got you. But I'll make less money up front, but I'll make it in volume on the end.
Look more at long-term volume over the long haul.
Exactly. And I see a lot of people, and we want to wave our finger at them and say, you're a junk peddler. You're one of these chains that has, I'll give you 8 large pizzas for $5. We're going to deliver it in 3 minutes or it's free. Okay, and you get what you're paying for, and it is junk, but we can't point a finger because they're billion-dollar industries. So
oh yeah,
there's a market for everything. But I took that attitude that I wanted to have a super premium high-end product, and I wanted to do it where it would be affordable. And the simple answer was make less upfront myself. Not going to have the yacht and the chopper, but 5, 10, 20 years down the road, I'm still here.
Yeah, no, that makes the difference. That makes the difference. Now, let's switch over to social media. Now, you mentioned you keep active posting food on social media. That you do well on Instagram. As far as pushing some business into the pizza shop. Tell us a little bit about like what you're doing there.
It was a difficult pill for me to swallow initially. I'm 48 years old, and the adaptability that the teenagers that work the counter for me have when it comes to social media is astounding.
Yeah,
I don't have that. I had to realize that it was me that was the problem. I needed to get it. I didn't get it. The idea.
What didn't you get looking back?
I didn't get the impact and the reach that social media actually had. In the beginning years, I thought, Facebook was, it was for grandma, so she could see pictures of the kids, that kind of thing, like somebody would put up silly pictures and things like that. I didn't realize the actual business impact it could have. And then with the advent of Instagram too, taking off and seeing just the impact it could have, I was admittedly one of the people that didn't catch on right away, and I had to learn. And
can you think back and see a turning point, like when you're like, maybe there's something to this?
A lot of the credit I have to give to the young people that work for me, that turned me on and said, hey, don't be my grandfather. Open your eyes. Open your eyes and see. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. That's kid stuff. People with the money that are buying, they're not on this. And then I realized how wrong I was. And then after doing that, I started getting much more involved and much more active with social media. And, by talking to some of my colleagues that work with it as well, locally and throughout the country, we could see the impact that it really has. And made it, a certain definite point to have, specialized campaigns on a regular daily, weekly basis to, attack those markets. And it does work. It does work.
What do you do? Do you build a calendar, or do you just get some ideas in paper? Like, how do you organize all that to make sure it gets done?
It's different with different platforms. I know it's, even with speaking with you, different markets see different results from different.
Across the country, it's crazy.
Yeah, and that was actually surprising to me. But for us personally, when it comes to things that are, how would I describe it? Ad oriented, when there's events, when there's specials, we utilize that through Facebook. We tend to see more of a older money spending audience. The parents are on Facebook more.
Yep.
The parents are more engaged with Facebook. The adults are more engaged with Facebook. So when we have anything that's an event or a special, we put it on there and we see more of a result from that.
What's an example of an event for your restaurant?
If we're doing a fundraiser for something, or if we have a special on one day, we'll put a picture or a video up there. We'll do some targeted marketing into our local neighborhoods or our local town, within a certain radius, and we'll attack it that way, and we find tremendous results from that. Whereas it's completely different with Instagram. Though there are those same people on Instagram, it seems to be more of a younger, engaged audience.
So talk about that, what your experience with that a little bit. I mean, like a lot of people that I talk to, they understand Facebook, they're on it, they communicate people on it. But I mean, if I had to put a rough number, I'm going to say 5% of the people I talk to know how to even use Instagram. I mean, it's much wider with the, say, 26, 27 and below. And then, like I said, if you want the crowd, it's, my age, I'm in my, early 40s, it's Facebook. I mean, I don't use Instagram. I think, on a personal level, it's just posts and pictures. Whereas Facebook, I feel like it's more interactive. It's just my generation. I
couldn't agree with you more. And that's, I think you keyed in on it right there. It's interactive on Facebook. Whereas you don't have that same level of interaction on Instagram. But the one thing you do have that's different on Instagram is you have the opportunity to grab someone's attention. Now, that's where learning how to play the game comes in. 'Cause anyone can put a picture up. 10 people can put 10 pictures up of pizza, but one of those 10 will have much more response than the others. And the reason being is because, you know, the algorithms that work within these platforms, you know, they're the biggest kept secret right up there with, you know, KFC and the recipe for original Coke. No one knows how these algorithms work. But the one thing we do know is that the more interaction you have, the more liking and commenting, the more that spider web does grow.
Yep, that's exactly like like when we run programs for our clients, we'll also run like, you know, gift card contests and engagement, because the way we have found it work, like say we have someone that's been posting and getting good results for a long time, and then we come in and start running contests, and because people are commenting, sharing, liking, and all that engagement goes up. But what we find is it actually raises the level of engagement for everything they do at that point. So like even like you know, they're posting pictures of pizza. If they were getting 500, 600, 700 views, you know, per post the last time, now they're going to be getting 1,200, 1,500, 2,000, just because of all that extra engagement. It's like when the tide goes up, it goes up with everything, especially with Facebook.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because, you know, Facebook, a lot of it is interacting through people that are already contacts, people that you're already friends with, and their friends as a result. Whereas we see with Instagram, the spider web grows. It's not necessarily specific. It kind of gets a little crazy sometimes, but the interaction.
When you say the spider web, it goes out of your service area, or like, what do you mean?
You'll post a picture on Facebook, for example.
Mm-hmm.
All of your friends will see it, you know, and, you know, your mother-in-law sees it and she
shares
it as well, and her friends. But it's all, you can pinpoint a connection somehow. Okay, you saw it because you're friends with so and so. You know her. Instagram, you know, when you put hashtags with things, when you start putting something, all of a sudden you open up to a global market. I mean, I have people that will contact me from the other side of the globe and say, "Hey, I saw this picture. Can you tell me what product did you use? How did you get it to look like that? What type of flour are you using? You know, what are you doing for a fermentation process?" You know, and I'll get questions from people that I would never know, or never know how I connected to them, but they're on the other side of the world. And that's how that works. You know, is that necessarily what we're looking for? No, that's not going to bring dollars and cents in through our door at the restaurants. But at the same time, it's the general theory. You see how it works, because it will have an impact on your market as well. You know, especially, you know, I got to give credit again. One thing that has been tremendous is the younger staff that works for me. They are so engaged on platforms like Instagram. You know, it goes out, all of their friends, all of their followers, all then see it and continue, and it just, that spider web grows and grows and grows. And that's the local market. Now, it's a different market than Facebook, because this is, you know, a higher percentage of it is younger people, but they're still diners. You know, they're still diners, they're still spenders, they're people with opinions that this is where they want, this is what they want, this is their favorite. And, you know, again, what did it cost?
Nothing there, and just a matter of doing it. Yep.
I didn't spend $1,500 on that business card size ad in the newspaper that everyone flips right by. You know, and it took minimal effort. You know, you're making food, take a picture. You know, go online and Google
it is to get people to do that.
Your phone. It's not that hard.
I mean, there's some people, yeah, they're on it, but sometimes I have to beg. I mean, I beg. I'm like, please take some pictures.
Yeah.
You know.
And there's people. You know, I have a friend that I've, you know, that does marketing for restaurants, and you know, he is someone that I developed a good relationship with, and he would get on me. Don't stop. I'm like, yeah. I'm busy. I'm you know, up to my eyeballs in orders. Like, no, don't stop.
That's exactly it. You
right. He's right.
You kind of hit that trend, or you hit the what they call it, the slight edge up. You can't see it, you can't feel it, but you know the momentum's there, and one day the slight edge just starts going like that. You know, you got to stick with it.
You can't take your foot off the gas, because the minute you do, the person who's got the business next door to you, they're going to put their foot on the gas harder, and then you're going to kick yourself, and you have no one to blame but yourself.
That's another concept.
You're going to say, you know, I didn't have the money for it, or, you know, it doesn't cost you anything. It's just a matter of your effort and your devotion and your focus and your time. So if you're not doing it, you have no one to blame but yourself. And it's like that with a lot of the things we've talked about here. You know, getting out on the floor, talking to people, getting involved in your community, using social media. None of these things require a master's degree in, you know, restaurant marketing. None of these things require, you know, thousands of hours and thousands of dollars. It really is easy. You just have to be committed to doing it. And when you are, the results are there. I will tell you, I challenge anyone to show me that they've done all of this and they've gotten zero results. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
No, I agree. I agree. All right, so I don't want to keep you on here all day, but I tell you, appreciate your time. We've been going here for a while, just about half hour. I mean, this is great information. So closing words. I want you to give your best advice to two segments. One, to the brand new pizzeria owner, where should he go? And then the seasoned owner who wants to get to the next level and maybe didn't adopt social media yet, like you've been doing, or been doing a haphazard without a plan. Like, what would you say to those two groups of people?
Well, the new pizzeria owner, capital is king. Be careful. Don't jump at every opportunity to buy a customer. Be wise. Be wise with your resources. Be wise with your money. Utilize the things that you have at your disposal that are free. Once you have exhausted those, if you see no results, which will not happen, then you can explore other avenues. But be smart up front. You put all this work into building your business. You put all this work into your food. Put that same work into your marketing. Opening the door, turning on the light will not cause the phone to ring, will not cause people to line up at the door. You need to do something. You cannot sit back and wait. So be proactive.
Find ways to get in front of your customer.
Yeah, you have to find ways not only to get in front of your customer, but to make that person a customer in the first place. So, find out what's important to them. In pizza, it's families. So how do I appeal to those families? Get in front of the families, get in front of the children, do for them, and they will do for you tenfold.
Now, how about the season owner? Again, they're at a certain level. Maybe they've been at the same revenue level for 2 years. They feel like they're maxed out on their staff. Everybody's doing as much as they can. But, again, it seems like every time they try something, the profit level drops. I mean, I hear this all the time.
Yeah, and I talk to a lot of people, and I see the same exact thing, and it breaks my heart. These people that say, we've been operators for 10, 15 years. We're here 7 days a week. And I shake my head and say, well, what are you doing there 7 days a week? Well, we just don't bring enough money in to be able to, pay enough people. Well, then, I don't subscribe personally to the idea that there's competition. Now, if you're in a town of 400 people and there's 50 pizza restaurants, okay, you've got competition, then you have an issue. But the majority, it's not that. There's enough population to go around. So what are you doing? If you're not bringing that in, look at different avenues. Maybe the avenues you've been using for marketing in the past aren't the right ones. Maybe it's time to start looking at some different things. And I can't preach enough. There are a multitude of things out there that won't cost you a ton of money, that will have a much higher rate of return. So, look into these things, do that, reach out to people, reach out to me. I talk to a million people a day about these things.
I could imagine.
I can't, especially, the restaurant industry has changed, and especially the pizza aspect of it. Whereas people used to be very secretive about what they do and how they do, it's changed. It's become more of a big family. Everyone's here willing to help one another out. So,
some people still are. I mean, I have a client that actually asked me to sign an NDA. They're like, hey, what we do here is secret. We don't want to get out. And I mean, to me, I don't care. Who am I going to tell about pizza? But,
right.
I don't understand all that.
I can just, even the past 10 years, it's changed so much. It's become so much more family oriented. Everyone throughout the world and the country, we get together. It's like, here's ideas. Here's what's working for me, this and that. And, so I adopt the same philosophy. I'm open. If anyone wants to ever ask, I'm open, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help. But there's a lot of things, as seasoned operators and owners that we can be doing that are smart, that maybe we haven't been used to doing in the past. We need to break away from those old ideas of what marketing is supposed to be. And it really does work. And it's hard to teach some of the old dogs new tricks, but it really does work. And these people that are trapped in their restaurants after 15, 20 years, they still can't get out of there because there's not enough money coming in the door. It doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't.
What do you think would be the one thing that it would get them over the hump?
I mean, it all comes down to dollars and cents. What is your sales total at the end of the week? No matter how busy you are, people that are experienced operators know how to get a handle on their costs. They know how to get a handle on their food costs, their labor costs. But at the end of the day, if there's just not enough money coming in, and you have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. That's tough. That's tough on you as an operator. You know, you swallow it. I'm the business owner. This is my asset. It's my business. I built it. It's my baby. But at the same time, you didn't build it to give yourself a 110-hour-a-week job at minimum wage. You know, and you need to look back at that and say, you know, where did I go wrong, and where do I need to make changes now so I can get out of that rut? And, a lot of people just get complacent and stay in that rut and think that's the way it has to be. It's not. It does not have to be like that.
So if you're stuck, is that something you sit down, just take a day off and put it on paper and look for it? Like, how do you discover where those spots are at?
Reach out. Reach out. Talk to people that have been there. Talk to people that have done that. You know, there's a million people out there willing to help that aren't looking for, you know, here's my fee. It's not like that. People are willing to help you. Look at people that have made mistakes. Look at people that have tried and, you know, learn from, you know, trying a million different things and have seen what works and what doesn't work. You know, but the help is out there. The help is out there. You don't have to be stuck. You know,
That's good to know.
At the end of the day, it comes down to how much sales volume you're bringing in. And like I said, if you're not one of 40 pizza restaurants in a town of 200 people,
Mm-hmm.
there's enough volume out there. You just need to find out, how do I get in front of those people? What are the different methods I can utilize and get them in my door? It is possible. It does happen. There are people doing it, and we're not geniuses. Oh, believe me, we're not geniuses.
You know what? Like I said, I've been doing digital marketing for 15 years, and some of the people that I do work for, I build websites for and such. You know, they do one thing really good, and I do their work, and I see how much business they have coming in. I always feel like I'm in the wrong field just because I see how well they're doing. But again, I take for granted, you know, they're good. They took the time to get good at that one thing, which put them in demand, you know, and in front of people. But
It's not always the most comfortable thing for some people to break out of that mold. Like I said, especially in this business, so many people are like, no, I cook. That's what I do. Well, you know what? You're a business owner now, so it's time to wear a different hat.
Yep.
And it's not hard. It's really not hard, because if it was that hard, people like myself and a lot of other, you know, dummies like us wouldn't be able to do it. You know?
And that's good advice there. But hey, Mike, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Mike Androw, you know, PMQ Magazine, October 2019. Look him up. Appreciate your time. Now, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
I can be reached mostly through Instagram at pizza. I don't even know my own Instagram handle anymore.
We'll get it on here for you.
Yeah.
But thank you for your time, and this has been invaluable. I'm sure there's
my pleasure.
Someone's going to see this, and it's going to make the difference for them. So I appreciate your time, and you know, let's talk again soon. Thanks, Mike.
All right, Dave. Thanks. Take care.
Thanks.